Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through some player props I like on Prizepicks for today's NBA slate on Thursday, October the 30th. Now, we have just a 4-game Thursday slate, so it is a small slate today. Right now, at the time I'm recording this video on Wednesday night, we only have props up for 2 of the 4 games, so we don't even have the full board up yet. So we're kind of working with a small board right now, but I did still find 2 plays that I liked looking at the board the night before. And as always, guys, we're going to break down these plays, going to give some analysis and share why I like them. Now, before we do get started, make sure that you guys hit that like button down below if you enjoy these Prizepicks videos. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel and if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, make sure that you go sign up. Use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and play $5. You're going to get $50 worth of free lineups for signing up and using code NOAH. And then also, we do have a partnership with Sleeper, so I do want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper. If you guys don't have the Sleeper app, you can download the app, use promo code NOAH over there, get your first deposit matched up to $100, and you'll also get a free $20 entry. So just for signing up and using code NOAH, you're going to get a free $20 entry. So this is going to be a way for you to be able to try out the Sleeper app, potentially win some money without even having to make a deposit. So highly recommend you guys get over to Sleeper. They're running this promo right now. I don't know how long they're going to run this promo for. I don't think they're going to just run this forever. Maybe they will, but I doubt it. So this is one of those promos I think you definitely need to take advantage of. Go give Sleeper a try while you can. Pretty much play for free over there with that $20 entry. So if you guys don't have an account on Sleeper, again, sign up. Use that promo code NOAH over on Sleeper. But before we talk through our Prizepicks plays here for this slate on Thursday, I do want to recap the plays that we gave out in Wednesday's video. So we gave out 3 picks on Wednesday and went 3-0. So hopefully you guys did tail. Felt good to finally get that full sweep. We took Domantas Sabonis over 4 assists. That was a cash. We took Kristaps Porzingis over 23.5 PRA. That was a cash. And then we took Sandro Mamukelashvili over 8.5 points, which also cashed. Definitely, I was a little bit worried about that Mamukelashvili prop because we got the Raptors starting lineup and they wound up starting Colin Murray-Boyles at center over Mamu. I thought Mamu would start, but they went with CMB. But Mamu came off the bench, played like 18 minutes, was productive, had 10 points. So we'll take it. 3-0 on Wednesday, guys. Let's see if we can run it back here and go 2-0 on these 2 plays for Thursday. So looking at the first prop that I like for Thursday, we're going to take a look at a fantasy score prop. For those of you that maybe are new to Prizepicks, you have never played on Prizepicks before, fantasy scores are some of my favorite stat types to play on Prizepicks. There's a big edge with fantasy scores. These are lines that Prizepicks has to make themselves. They can't just copy these lines directly from a sports book. So there's not as much data that goes into fantasy scores, and that just makes the edge bigger. If you're in my Patreon, I give out a lot of fantasy score props. That's what I heavily target. And we've had a lot of success, targeting fantasy score props over on Prizepicks, for Patreon. There's a fantasy score prop I like for Thursday, and it's going to be Ryan Rollins for more than 25 fantasy score. So Ryan Rollins has started to see an increased role as of late because the Bucks have been without Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. got injured, I'm pretty sure, in their first game of the season against Washington. He only played 9 minutes before leaving with injury. And really, ever since then, we've seen Ryan Rollins take over as the clear, number 1 point guard for the Bucks. In that game that KPJ got injured in, Rollins went on to play 29.5 minutes. And then the last 3 games, he has started in place of KPJ, and he's played 30 minutes, 34 minutes, and 26 minutes. So the minutes have been really good for Ryan Rollins, and the production's been really good as well. He's gone over this fantasy score line in 3 out of those 4 games. Been doing everything as well. Like, if you look at his stat lines in these games, against Washington, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Against Toronto, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Against Cleveland, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. Against the Knicks, 25 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. He's been racking up a ton of steals, which, if you don't know how fantasy score works, steals are huge for fantasy score because you get 3 points for every block and steal. You can see how fantasy points are calculated right here. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. But yeah, steals are huge, and Ryan Rollins has been racking up a lot of steals. He's also been rebounding, getting some assists, and he's been scoring too. He's just a guy that can be productive when he gets minutes. If you look so far this season, Ryan Rollins has averaged over a fantasy point per minute. He's averaged 1.13 fantasy points per minute last season with the Bucks. He didn't play a lot last season, but he averaged like 14 and a half minutes per game. But last season for the Bucks, Rollins averaged 0.93 fantasy points per minute. So he's kind of been about a fantasy point per minute guy throughout his career. He's been playing about 30 minutes a night, sometimes more than that. I think if this game's competitive and if Rollins doesn't get in foul trouble, he's probably playing 30 plus minutes here. And if we're going to get 30 plus minutes from a guy who should average about a fantasy point per minute, I think this line of 25 fantasy score is definitely a bit too low on Rollins. I think this line should be like 27 and a half, 28. I think 25 is a couple points too low. And I think the matchup here against Golden State's, a fine one. I assume Golden State's probably going to put like Steph Curry on Ryan Rollins. Obviously, Rollins not known for his offensive game, so typically, teams are not going to put their best defenders on Ryan Rollins. Obviously, the Warriors are going to be doing a lot to try and stop Giannis. We could see double teams on Giannis. Like, there's so many routes for Ryan Rollins to take on a big role here. Obviously, Kevin Porter Jr. being out right now has thrusted him into that big role. And in this type of matchup against Golden State, a team that can swarm Giannis, we could see Draymond, Jimmy Butler double teaming Giannis here. Like, this is definitely a spot where I think Ryan Rollins can continue to have success. And one thing that I also like to see, the Bucks, they did go out and get Cole Anthony this offseason, and he's been their like third string point guard. But obviously he's playing like the backup point guard minutes now. They've been willing to play Cole Anthony and Ryan Rollins alongside each other, which I think is really good for Ryan Rollins, because if they can play him and Cole Anthony together, that's just going to make his minutes upside even higher. If they weren't willing to play those guys together, then you could run into some situations where Cole Anthony maybe comes off the bench and plays really well, gets hot, and that eats into Rollins' minutes. But that's not been the case lately. They've been playing those guys together. They've been sharing the floor together. I think this 25 fantasy score line on Rollins, given the minutes he's playing right now, given the production that we've seen from him, I think this line is a bit low. So I do like that as our first prop for Thursday night. And then the other prop that I like is a points prop. And we're going to take Andrew Wiggins for more than 17.5 points. Now, Andrew Wiggins has only gone over this line. He's gone over this line twice this season, 2 out of 4 games. Went over in their season opener against Orlando, had 20 points. And then against Memphis, only 10 points. Against the Knicks, only 9 points. But then bounced back in their last game against Charlotte, had 21 points. Now, so far this season, Wiggins, he's not had like a huge role, but we did see his role really spike last game. Obviously, had a season high in points, 21 points. Also had a season high in field goal attempts. He took 15 field goal attempts in that game, took 6 three-point attempts. So the shot volume was really good for Wiggins. And it makes sense because last game, the Heat were without Norman Powell. Norman Powell is obviously a key piece of their offense. They went out and got Norman Powell this offseason. And especially without Tyler Hero right now, a lot of the offense is going to run through Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, and Norman Powell. So really without Norman Powell, and obviously without Tyler Hero as well, a lot of the offense should run through Bam and Wiggins. Wiggins should be a guy that picks up a lot of usage here. If you look so far this season, his usage rate, Wiggins' usage rate has only been about, I think it's like 19% this season. 19.6% usage rate for Wiggins, which is actually 6th on the team. Like, he's really not been soaking up a lot of usage this year. But if you look at the minutes that he's played without Norman Powell, it's a small sample. Obviously, he's only played 43 minutes but without Norman Powell. But in the 43 minutes he's played without Norman Powell this season, his usage rate spikes up to 24.7%. So that's a big bump. That's like a 5% or 4 to 5% bump in usage, which is, you look at that in terms of where it ranks on the team. He's third most on the team in usage with Powell off the floor. So clearly, Andrew Wiggins really benefits with Norman Powell off the floor. I think we're going to continue to see Wiggins be able to be aggressive offensively. You look at this matchup against San Antonio as well. San Antonio, they have been really good defensively this season, but I think where San Antonio is really good defensively is around the rim and in the paint, because obviously with Wemby protecting the paint, guarding the rim, I mean, it's going to be hard to score in the paint against this Spurs team. But Wiggins is a player that kind of lives in the mid-range. He's a guy that lives off his jumper. He's not really attacking the basket a ton. So I think this matchup sets a little bit more, I think it sets up a little bit better for Wiggins to be able to score than maybe for Bam or Khalil Ware, some of those, the big men. I think the big men could maybe struggle in this spot against Wemby, whereas the guys like Wiggins, maybe Davion Mitchell, these type of guys have a better chance of producing points in this matchup. And Wiggins specifically, I do like for more than 17.5 points here. So these are the two props, guys, that we're going to roll with for this 4-game slate on Thursday night. It is a small slate, guys. Right now, there's only props up for 2 games, so yeah, we're really working with a small board right now, but I still wanted to give you guys a couple early plays I did like, taking a look at the board the night before. And as always, I do give out more Prizepicks plays over on Patreon, so if you guys do want to check that out, that is linked down below in the description. You can check that out if you're interested. But hopefully we can continue this streak. We went 3-0 on Wednesday night. Hopefully we can go 2-0 here on these 2 plays for Thursday, and keep this heater rolling. But as always, guys, I do appreciate you watching these Prizepicks videos. I do appreciate your support. Make sure to hit that like button down below for me before you do get out of here, guys. Hit that subscribe button as well. And again, if you don't have an account over on Prizepicks, over on Sleeper, go support our sponsors. Use that promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks, sign up for Sleeper. It helps support the channel, helps support me, and obviously there's benefits for you guys as well, signing up through me. So check them out, guys. Use that code NOAH over on Prizepicks and Sleeper. But good luck tonight. Let's win some money, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.